I'm curious, like your life is quite interesting. You're a journalist, you're a news anchor, you've written articles. What's like the most emotional story that you've ever gone through? Like the craziest thing?
You know, when Trump brought up what's going on in Nigeria, just learning some of the details that aren't really put on the mainstream that much. It's like, what? Some of the way these people are being killed in their houses. It's not even something that I think will get demonetized.
Right now, what would you say is the best place to get news for the younger generation?
Look, the new media, people who have come up, maybe are not qualified journalists, but share their thoughts online. The problem right now is there's too much information and too many people trying to share mis and disinformation. Again, so especially when you have AI. Yes, right? Especially when you have AI right now.
Yeah.
When you say Burkina Faso, Russia has heavy links in the disinformation coming out of Burkina Faso. So there's misinformation, disinformation coming from so many corners. Individual people and entire states are all engaging in it. So the trick is to...
Hi guys, welcome back to the What Even podcast. Is it episode 9?
No, we're at 11 now.
We're at 11. Oh my god.
We beat the 10 episode mark.
Going fast.
Yeah.
Funny enough, Pablo was saying he's going to quit at 10, but look who's still here sitting.
Yeah, no, you threatened me saying that I should extend the contract.
And we're joined by one and our honorable guest, Immanuel Ndungu.
Yeah.
The one and only. You see, I think you've seen this face before.
You had to. You really had to.
Literally on Citizen TV, Hot 95. And the guy is quite growing right now. And we were interested in, where we do like things about different type of people, entrepreneurs, doctors, philosophers even. And today we have a journalist, which is quite new to us. And we're very interested because us ourselves, me and Pablo specifically, are doing some type of journalist stuff. So we wanted some insights. So the minute I saw this guy on Citizen, I was like, you know what? I want to know like all this stuff about journalism. I want to know the tactics inside the... And that's why when I brought Immanuel Ndungu, I was not only for that, to also know how he's doing everything he's doing.
Yeah.
So Immanuel Ndungu, welcome to the One.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. If you let me just ask, because I'm curious to know, like, when did you start, journalism, and how did it go to like Citizen? Like, how was the time period?
The journey.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting journey because it's been quite a fast one, I'd say. So it came from when I was younger. I was used to like reading newspapers, and I was used to watch the news. Anytime there was a politics debate for the next UK Prime Minister, my dad would always watch it, so I would always be there. And we had a relatively long journey to school in the car. It was around 30 minutes. And we would always listen to the local radio show, which was BBC Three Counties Radio. It focused on, Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire, Buckinghamshire. So a lot of politics, a lot of discussions, and sometimes we'd switch to Radio 4 as well, which was a more national look at what really goes on around the country. So it always used to interest me, but I never really thought it was accessible. Like I'd hear those voices on the radio, and I'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like they are quite knowledgeable, they're very good at what they do, but it never seemed like something that I could really do. So fast forward to around 2021, I was quite heavy on social media, particularly Twitter, and just debating people about random things. It could be sports, it can be any topic. And, my dad would see I was getting like quite animated with it, and I'm like,
in the Twitter debate.
Yeah, why is he not understanding this? Yeah.
It can get quite toxic.
It can. All my days. By the way, it really did. Especially when you talk about towards the end of 2021, when I'm a big Formula One fan. So when all that stuff with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen happened at
the robbery,
Abu Dhabi, because that was the funniest time of my life for sure. Because Hamilton fans were fuming. I'm a Ferrari fan.
What?
But I was
my
supporting
days.
Verstappen. And so it was so good trolling those guys.
Bro, I had a bit of a what? Where's the what coming from?
You said Ferrari fan.
Yeah.
Ferrari fan. I should just leave right now.
Well, who do you support?
I'm a McLaren fan, but I'm
Oh
a
my
Hamilton
goodness.
fan. So you'd have been rage baiting me.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
would have
mean?
been.
Yeah,
I would have
exactly.
been. Why McLaren though?
Bro,
They're the most unserious team.
I know that's not coming from a Ferrari fan. That's
Okay, fair enough. But I mean, yeah, we could get into the F1 a little bit later because there's a lot to talk about
It is.
this season. But so yeah, it was at that moment where my dad was like, "I'm gonna say." So you're quite interested in debating whether it's from sports to world events, but it's kind of useless because you're just doing it online. So he said something in the effect of, well, in my interpretation, have some use, kinda. And well, not really, in a nice way. Me and my dad have this kind of banter we get into. But so then he enrolled me into a journalism course at Strathmore University.
Wait, so that's when you came to Kenya?
I came to Kenya in 2022, and it's 2023 that I came into Strathmore. So now that's when I did a course in journalism, and I really learned the ropes of really the art of journalism itself. Past the point of just like informing yourself, learning how to communicate, and things like that. And yeah, then I landed an internship at KBC at the beginning of 2024.
Then that's some speculation because when I was reading about you with Hot 96, that's the first place I was being told about.
Oh, yes, I saw it as well. Okay, I haven't really documented my journey that much, to be fair, online. So there's a lot of information online about me that's missing that I guess will come out here. But yeah, so I started there for like 5 or so months, and then I managed to get a role at Citizen, which actually I was a sports reporter to begin with.
So you know what's cool? Like fully with sports reports.
Well, journalism and being a sports reporter is in that line of work, and it was good. It was a good entering point because obviously I've competed in a few sports myself, and I'm very conversant in a lot of like the competitive side and the scientific side of sports as well. Because I studied sports science when I was in the UK before this whole journalism stuff started.
Actually, this guy is actually sporty. I think I saw your story. You were carrying like I don't know the size of. And then this guy, I commented as you're still rusty.
I was very rusty. This was last week.
You saw last week. This guy was carrying, I don't know how many kgs those were.
I can't remember actually. I think it's like 110.
100.
Yeah, 110 is not rusty, bro.
So
Mr. Rusty over here was carrying 110 kilograms. I can't even carry 80.
Yeah. How much can you push over your head?
Maybe like 50, 60 maybe. But I'm still quite athletic, but bro.
Yeah, it's a whole nother level.
Always an athlete.
Yeah, I play football.
You look like a footballer, to be fair.
I get that.
I would have guessed. If I guessed the sport, football for sure. But yeah, so that was the entry point. And then in around November-ish, an opportunity came at Royal Media, because obviously with Royal Media, there's Citizen TV, there's Ramogi TV, Inoro TV, and then 13 or so radio stations as well, all under one umbrella. So a lot of us kind of double up in maybe one radio and sometimes TV as well and things like that. So although I was focused on the Citizen TV, there came an opportunity to become a news anchor on Hot 96 for current affairs now. So this would move me away from sports. And I took it, and it was an interesting time because, of course, the opportunity came up and it was presented, and I let it be known quite early on that I'd be happy to just try anything and just try and learn as much as possible. Still very early in the career. I didn't want to like confine myself to something.
Those words from your father is what really arced that moment for you.
I think so. Like, okay, my dad always had big ambitions for me.
Are you an only child?
No, I have a little brother.
Okay.
Yeah, a little brother.
But firstborn.
I'm a firstborn, yes,
Okay,
yeah.
then, yeah.
So he always had big ambitions for me. And actually, before I started the journalism course, we were sitting down watching JK Live, actually.
JK Live.
And it was like, man, why can't you do something like this? I was like, why can't you do something like this? So I was like, okay, we'll give it a go. So then, yeah, I took on that opportunity of being a news anchor to do a bit of training and this kind of trial period as well to see if I could do it. But I feel like it was something that kind of came naturally to me almost. Yeah.
Yeah, we could say it even when you present on TV, natural, like natural. Everyone's picking you up, and I think there's like a reason for that. The way it's just circulated. Yeah.
Well, I definitely the kind of instant recognition has been quite interesting, especially since going on the TV.
Yeah, actually, I want to even to deep dive on that, on how you even got to Citizen TV, because I think a lot of people are interested in how you were capable of getting in that position. Like, what exactly was that path?
He did an internship and the opportunity, like,
Yeah, so actually that was the thing. I just applied and then gradually just came in. Yeah. So yeah, it was, okay, everyone has this idea that, I see a lot of comments that he's a Nepo baby and he just knows someone big in there. He knows the editorial director, Linus Kai, and he's like, oh, that's why he just went in. But actually, no. Obviously, I came to Kenya with no context, and I don't even count 2022 as really a year I was really immersed in Kenya, really, because I was kind of isolated. I was living in Naivasha.
Oh, okay.
And I was kind of just with my family, and I didn't really expose myself to much about Kenya, or interacting with many people. It was really from 2023 that now, when I came onto campus, which is when I really started, mixing with the culture, learning things about, the way things are done and things like that. So, yeah, came in there with no contacts, and so I always find it interesting when people bring that up and say you must just know someone, and of course it helps.
I think people even say that sometimes. It's just Kenyan. I think it's like a Kenyan thing, bro. Every time, even like when people see you doing something in Kenya, they're just like, it's either he had a contact somewhere or whatever. Like maybe this happening, go to that position, but there's a lot of hard work behind it in most cases.
So much, and let me tell you, the late nights and super early mornings and all these things that I would like, anything they asked of me, it was never a no. I'll just do it, even if it's on an off day. I've worked 6 days already, and they asked me to come in on the 7th day.
Maybe even that's why you're like at that position already, to be honest.
Because I feel like I instilled confidence early on with my superiors. For example, I was there for about 3 weeks, and then there was this big event that was going to be broadcast internationally. And it was the African Cycling Championships. Now, that there was really no reason for me to put my name forward for that, because I had no live TV experience, no commentary experience. I'd only been out on the fields to cover like 1 or 2 stories by that point. So I didn't really have any reason to do so, but I know a lot about cycling. So I was like, let me just put my name forward, right? And obviously I had to do quite a bit of convincing. But again, by that point, I'd already done quite a bit of solid work and showed work ethic, and that I can definitely, any opportunity that comes, I'll be able to do it. So, and that's actually how I got my first live TV experience.
No way, and that's why I like hearing this. So you do that, even that sacrifice is crazy, because like not many people will be able to say at Yana, I don't care about the time, I don't care about what day it is. This is a big opportunity. I'm gonna take it. That's crazy.
I'm more interested in like the self belief you had, like to be like, I'm just put my name up for this, and no experience. Like I'm gonna just throw myself in the deep end. Would you say you always had that, or?
Yes and no. So actually, I'm quite ambitious. So obviously, I always see myself in in the next step.
Yeah.
But when it comes to actually making a decision to put my name forward, I always don't want to do it because I'm always like, this is too soon.
Yeah.
But I just make myself and basically I just force myself to do it. And then sometimes when they say yes, it comes to my surprise. Like for that, for example, when it was in Eldorette, by the way, and it was being streamed on even on KBC, Citizen, even BBC picked up the signal, and so again, like I had no reason really to want to actually put myself out there in that kind of way, but I did, and it turned out well. It turned out well.
When they said yes, was it like a thing of like, oh, now what do I do now? Like,
And in fact, there's a story to how I actually got to the TV anchoring as well. And I don't know if you want to get into that now or later, but it was this exact same thing. When I got that call up, I was like,
I know. It's very sticky, those words.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Immanuel, the first time you showed up, your debut on the Citizen TV sparked a lot of debate, a lot of talk. Okay. Which high school and university do you think mostly shaped you? Especially, were you like a different person back then?
kind of,
Yeah.
but then also a bit similar as well. So in school, I was considered like the class clown, actually. So that's a big shift in my personality that's happened over the last few years, because I'm really not that funny anymore. And I'm a bit more serious.
Yeah.
Before, I was kind of the guy who just wouldn't take anything seriously and getting in trouble all the time just for like petty things in school. That was through primary, through secondary. In fact, it was a reason I actually had to move from one secondary school to another to get like a fresh start, because it was
too much.
I was just getting in too much trouble, getting in like fights and stuff. So it was like, it was just kind of not the ideal scenario to be in. So that's how I ended up in my secondary school. Then from there, actually, that's when I kind of changed. I was like, you know what? I got to like year 9, where we're about 14, 15. And I was like, you know what? I need to actually start being serious with my life. Because, I mean, no one's going to remember the class clown, are they? So that kind of, and it was just a natural shit. I didn't really have to force anything, really. I don't know how it came so naturally to just kind of shift into...
Wasn't anyone was, or any certain situations that made you change? Because I can tell, like, for me, change happened through, I think, maybe a lot of pain and situations that are forcing you to change. For you, it just happened. It was just a shift.
For me, I think it just came a point where we had these like end of year exams in year 9 to now kind of set our pathways for year 10 and 11 to do our GCSEs. And at that point, that's when it started getting a bit more serious for me. And for some reason, I just locked in. And at that point, obviously, because I hadn't been listening for the past 9 years, my grades weren't that good. I came with my grades. I started year 10. I was like, what? This is me. Yeah, this is me. So anyway, so that's when I really like locked in. And you know when people say I'm a lock in, right? It actually works. You can actually just one day tell yourself.
Was there like a big jump from like like your grades to like now when you locked in?
Huge.
Okay.
Like there was like so much potential I didn't even know I had really. That really unlocked it in just a couple of years, and ended up getting really good grades by the end, and carried that into college, and now obviously studying journalism, and now being here. So of course the job with journalism involves a lot of study, a lot of research, because you have to know, basically anything you talk about, you have to know the ins and outs. And so it kind of feels like you're studying all the time, and you're constantly trying to just bring in information all the time.
I don't know if you're comfortable sharing the high schools and the primary schools.
Actually, that's a good point. So some people say he's from group of schools.
So now we get the official statement. So you guys talk like
exactly. This is the official now. So I started primary school at Monksmead Primary School in a little town called Boreham Wood. Boreham Wood in yeah. yeah.
I just feel like I hear bro, I just feel like sitting down on fire.
Meanwhile, it's not like that.
Yeah, it's not like that. That's funny. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so Boreham Wood. That's where I did my whole primary school education. Then I did like half a year at Hartswood Academy. That was also in Boreham Wood, in Hertfordshire.
Okay.
That is just borders London, slightly north. And then I moved to King's Langley School. King's Langley School is where I finished my education now, for secondary school.
So all this is in UK.
Yeah, all of this is in the UK.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
And then after that, I went to college at West Herts. That was in Watford. So I think more people know Watford. And then, yeah, that's when I came to Kenya. Then went to Strathmore University. Now I'm here. That's the journey. And yeah, so hopefully that brings out all the conspiracies.
It clears the debate. You finally got the answer.
Exactly.
I'd love to ask you though, from now, obviously you started uni in UK, right?
Yes.
And then you switched to now come to Strathmore. Was there like, culture shock in that switch from, being in UK, like majority of your life, to now come in Kenya, studying in Kenya,
So culture shock, not as much as I was thinking. So there are a few things that are different. For example, like social distance, right? Or personal space. We called it social distance through COVID, right?
Yeah.
But like this thing of like there's just a few cultural things where you're in a bus and there's empty seats everywhere. And then a man comes and sits next to you. Like, for what? Like, that's something that just you wouldn't really. Yeah, exactly. And those kind of things when someone's talking to you and they're like in your face as well. That kind of thing is interesting. Something I had to adapt to.
Yeah.
But it's very easy in that situation when you feel uncomfortable with someone's proximity to you. It's very easy to come across as rude, telling them to kind of just take a step. So I actually haven't really figured out how to even address it really. But I've got kind of used to it. Yeah. So it's one of those things. But it's not everyone. I think there's also quite a bit of difference in cultures, even in Kenya. So it's not, you can't expect the same thing from everyone or even certain groups of people. So there's it's been an interesting journey, but I think that's really the one like standout thing. Other than that, everyone speaks English all the time. So I was thinking I do speak a decent amount of Swahili. We're not going to test it now, but, but I was thinking, because some countries, like if you were to go to Italy, those guys do not care about speaking English. They do not care about speaking English. They will speak to you in Italian. If you understand. You understand. If you don't, tough luck, right? So it was cool. It was interesting coming here and obviously being able to mix between the two and have good conversations with people. And yeah, culture shock. I mean, one thing that is a bit frustrating here is I like the food back in England. I like the food back in England. I like the food
that is
back
a
in
hot
England.
take. That is a hot take.
Honestly, when it comes from first of all the variety is much more in the UK and a much cheaper price as well.
It's crazy you say that because like I have a lot of international friends, who've like are here and then they've gone to UK, and whenever they're here they stock up on as many like ingredients as they can because they don't like the food in UK.
You see, that's the opposite. I was in the UK in November, so I actually stocked up on loads of UK food.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, I stocked up on so much. And in fact, I'm bringing another delivery actually at the start of next year.
Oh my days.
Or in January. So, but it's annoying also sometimes the price of the food here. Like I'm a big fan of, I don't know if you know this, Kellogg's Crunchy Nuts cereal.
Yeah. I know that.
So like in the UK, like £4 something, you can get like the kilo box. Actually, can you? Yes, around that price. But here, you're paying £7 for a half kilo box. So it's like you're obviously, if you want to kind of maintain the kind of food that I used to eat in the UK or whatever, you will end up paying a lot more.
Yeah, true.
Here,
Yeah, because
which is frustrating. And then obviously, I think it's more just an acquired taste. I've gotten used to the way cinnamon rolls are made over there. They're made so differently here, and they just don't hit the same. And cookies and things like that, and sweets. So those kind of like snacky things as well is quite a big difference.
Yeah.
So that's probably the most frustrating thing here, apart from the driving. I don't even think we need to get to the driving, because the driving is, I think everyone's seen the driving. Everyone complains about
it's
the driving.
a problem. It's such a problem.
But then everyone gets in their car and does the exact thing they complain about.
You know, I'll tell you a funny story, right? Once I was in driving school, obviously you're being taught like the proper rules of the road, this and that, like, and they're being really specific. So in school, they teach you like very well, right? Then it comes into like now the practical. So we've left the theory and we go out into the field. It's like the driving instructor, just like everything they taught you in there, just forget it. Just forget it. Imagine. He's just like, I wouldn't say the school though. I can't say that. But he's just like, just forget it, man. Matatus, give them spaces. Do these, watch out for them all the time. And like, it's just, you just have to, like, he just said, you just have to adapt and know, like, not be in the right, but not be in the wrong, if that makes sense. Like,
because I always wondered actually how driving tests are done.
Yeah.
So, where like, what's the venue for the driving test? Do you do it on the open roads or?
No, it's okay. You driving test in the driving school. I forgot the building. Charles, do you remember the building name? No. When you're actually going to get your license, like the official
NTSA.
test. Yeah, you go to NTSA, but it's kind of crazy because like it's first of all it's giving like military camp vibes, and I don't know if I'll be cancelled for this, but it's giving military camp. I remember going there. It's a bunch of us under. It was raining, so we're all under one tent. And it was like different driving schools. So this driving school, that driving school. It was hectic because it's like we were so many. So it's like obviously at first you have to do like the model board and like drive the car, and they're super strict. Like one mistake and you're out because there's so many people. So it's like you're out next. And then also now when it comes to like the actual driving, so if you're doing stick, right? This is the funniest thing ever. So we're all in the tents and we're seeing like the people who are now going to like start the car. Yeah. So they go to start the car and they stall, they're out. The next person enters the car, they move, they stall, they're out. I kid you not. You'd see someone walk up.
The story you need to cover is the driving schools of Kenya. Because this thing is a problem.
It's crazy.
If you get one thing wrong, they cancel you and remove you.
Yeah. And this is after paying for so much and like being in school for like, let's say a month or so and studying. Maybe you just got nervous on the day and you stole the car, but they're so strict. So we were all in the tents watching people like that walk up to the car. They enter the car, it goes, and then they're told get out. And it's like so sad.
I remember my line was entering the classroom. So you're just hearing, you failed. You failed. Get up.
Yeah, so strict.
So the practical is done at that facility.
Yeah,
you're not on the actual
it's a
roads.
controlled environment.
So you're not on the roads.
No, you're on the road in class while you're learning, but when it's the actual thing and they're governing you, it's in that facility, that controlled facility.
See, I find that very interesting because in the UK, it's you go on the roads for the test itself. Now, actually, I kind of see a reason why not to go on the roads here, because you can't even enact half of the rules you should. Because let's say like the roundabout rule, where you're supposed to give way from the right, right? Like, if no one else is doing that, and someone is giving way to you and you're not on the roundabout, then obviously, if you're the only one who's not following what everyone else is just doing, then suddenly you become a danger. Even though you're the one following the rules, and you're the one turning right at a right angle, you're not cutting across the junction. If everyone's expecting you to cut the junction, which is the wrong thing to do, obviously you start putting yourself in weird situations. So I kind of get that sense, but honestly, I just think the the standard of driving is just not good enough. It's not, but it's also not helped by the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the Nairobi to Nakuru highway, connecting two major cities, right, with a single carriageway road, and you wonder why there are so many like head-on collisions here, like in the UK or in Europe, or you never hear of this many head-on collisions, right? Of course, if you're spending half the time in the other lane, trying to overtake a truck that's overloaded going 30 k's an hour, of course, you're increasing that risk of being in those collisions. So infrastructure-wise, we're also not helped at all.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can actually dual some of these roads, or actually some of them should be 3 lanes, to be honest. Like that highway should be 3 lanes.
Traffic is crazy. You drive for hours like after work. It's not like, but I think Kenya with time, the way it's growing, the way people are coming in, it's gonna eventually
Yeah,
get
slowly
to a
but
point
surely we are extending. Yeah.
that you write articles.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to know the biggest one you've written. I don't know.
Biggest article I've written for Citizen?
Yeah.
The biggest article. I don't know. It's hard to really track how big they have really gone. Yeah. So I've done a few. I've done sports ones from season reviews of some of our athletes. I did at the end of last year in athletics, and I've also done. There's a time I was in the Dab refugee camp.
Yeah.
So I did a story on that as well, and my experiences there. Also, there was a documentary I released not long ago of Ibrahim Traore, the new face of Africa. Did an article on that, and that was quite popular. It was really an article leading to the documentary itself, which actually was a very successful one on YouTube. So I encourage anyone to go and watch it. let me plug my work.
Yeah, link in the description.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Like your life is quite interesting. You're a journalist. You're a news anchor. You've written articles. What's like the most emotional story that you've ever gone through? Like the craziest thing, the most craziest journalist story, the most craziest article you've written. What's something you've ever done that you're like, Jesus Christ? Is this an actual story? Like,
so there was one article I wrote not long ago. Actually, it was before people really brought up. When Trump brought up what's going on in Nigeria with the Christians and the violence going on over there. So actually, it was a few months before that I wrote an article on it, and I was like, you know what, like there's this thing that in my opinion, was being underreported. So let me talk about it a little bit more. And so I didn't manage to go there, of course, but I had to do a bit of research on and listening to interviews from witnesses and things like that, and just learning some of the details that aren't really put on the mainstream that much. It's like, what? Like some of the way these people are being killed in their houses was just insane.
Yeah.
And it's not even something that I think will get demonetized if I even start explaining in depth really what's going on there. But it's really bad, and there's a lot of those conflicts around the world that often the ones that aren't really given that much light. Yeah. Also, when you hear stories of how some of the cartels in Southern America operate, and when someone wrongs them, what they do to these people. Like anytime you read of any kind of stories like that, and the intricate details of, man, it's like, what? Where are we living? It's like,
was about Congo.
Oh yes, yeah. And Sudan as well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's a lot going on in the world that the average person doesn't really have time to consume all of it.
And I think I was told the story about this the other day, and they told me sometimes it's better not to know, because when you hear those things, it messes with your head, because it's absurd.
Yeah. So, with your take on journalism not failing the people, and in us being in a digital age today with like a lot of media channels, back in the day, obviously people used to get their news from like one source, be it primarily newspaper and to be like very one popular newspaper company that feeds the people all the news. Right now, what would you say is like the best place to get news for the younger generation to get all the coverage of, you know, what needs to be talked about?
That's a good question, actually. And it also changes where you are as well. So, look, the new media and people who have come up and maybe are not qualified journalists, but share their thoughts online and, also share their depiction of events. That is important, right? We've always had citizen journalism where, people have just been able to, they've seen something and they're like, people need to know about this.
Yeah.
So that's always been a thing. And it's useful because actually even us in the media, we take eyewitness accounts all the time into things like that. But the problem right now is there's too much information and too many people trying to share mis and disinformation. So that's the tricky thing to get into, especially when you have AI. Yeah, yes, right? Especially when you have AI right now.
Yeah.
And when you start to learn about geopolitics as well, Russia is involved in, when you say Burkina Faso, Russia has heavy links in the disinformation coming out of Burkina Faso to come to our phones. And there's a lot of research of bot accounts. A lot of bot accounts come out of Russia, China, all the way over to the US. That's why Trump was quite wary about TikTok, right? Many people kind of thought, this is Trump just trying to, right? But when you have an algorithm that is basically, it can control what the citizens of your country are consuming. And, that can be a security concern, especially when it's a country that might have an interest to cause division in your country. Of course, there's going to be things like that. So there's misinformation, disinformation coming from so many corners. Individual people and entire states are all engaging in it. So the trick is to just try and consume a wide range of material from different sources. It's especially, I like to use the example of the US because it's very clear, the left versus right in their political discussions. If you tune into MSNBC talking about Trump, they're going to be bashing him. If you tune into Fox News talking about Trump, it's going to be Trump is the best. So if you just consume one, of course, you're going to be down that line. So you have to be able to get a balance. I think it does require a little bit more due diligence to think, I've seen an Instagram comment of someone saying this, but will I actually take the time, an extra minute of my day to just Google, is this true? And you can see some more credible sources. And where I still think, people wonder if the mainstream media is dying. I always say no, because when a big event happens, let's say when Charlie Kirk was shot, that story was broken more on social media first, right? That, oh my days, Charlie Kirk was shot. But most people really waited to know, is this true? Right? For the BBC, Sky News, CNN, what were they saying? And because the mainstream media still has a credibility that they have contacts that are not available to the average person. They have, and access to more information. So people still do look to that authoritative source to say, did this happen? Did it not? Because they know, they should hope that a certain source would definitely not try and put out something that they know is false, right? So, so that's why the mainstream media is still quite important. So a mix of mainstream media and some of these other channels that you have assessed you think is telling a truthful story, but also back them up still, don't just take their word for it. Because I also learn a lot from people who are maybe just living in the area and just putting on TikTok or Instagram, So definitely don't just dismiss those, but just be wary.
I think there's like a responsibility that's even coming up. Just even this thing you were mentioning earlier, like the way people are saying false things about you. I think this social media platforms. Do you feel like there's a way they can fix this problem of fake information being pumped out everywhere? Policies, maybe. I don't know what this Instagram, TikTok can do to fix this, because I think it's truly becoming like a massive thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I could answer that, I know on Twitter they have like a whole verification thing where it's like, oh, this is like most likely AI or a bot, like false, and you've seen that, right?
Yeah, and also the community notes and things
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
where
exactly.
those things help for sure, because you can very easily see a narrative and just turn your phone off and go about your day. But then if you see a community note or some sort of clarification just underneath, suddenly your whole perspective of this event is now different. And it's not even just, when it comes to misinformation, it's not even outright lies that are really bad necessarily. It's the things that people leave out. So yeah, when key information that you've left out on purpose aren't shared, then that can change your whole perspective as well.
Things taken out of context.
Exactly. So these are things to bear in mind, and there's so many examples of this.
I think it's because, like, obviously in today's day and age, people like have very short attention spans. So they never want to watch like the full clip on a topic. So they'll like get like the mini clips. And in the mini clips, that's when you can easily control the narrative to be like, oh, they said this. And it's like,
so easily.
Because me, first time I saw Burkina Faso, I totally thought this was a bad person. Until the truth comes out, I'm like, what do you mean they were lying? This is how good it's gotten. And in the end,
oh, yeah. We're cooked.
Yeah. But Burkina Faso is a very interesting one.
Yeah.
Because there's so many sides to that story that people don't talk about. And that's actually what I try to unpack in my documentary. Now, the story that a lot of people are fed, especially through, not really through the mainstream, but now these, like the new media, like personalities online, really praising Traore and the things he's done in the country, and all these things. Like I saw something of, he started a new Burkina Faso Airlines, right? So you see that, and you see thousands of likes saying, yes, this is the leader we all need, right? And when you do a search, that doesn't exist. Doesn't exist.
No way.
They are not in a position not an airline, to produce their own planes. That was the story. To produce their own plane, their own indigenous Burkina Faso plane. They're not in a position to do that at all. And you also don't know that up to 60% of the country is not in the hands of Traore at all.
No way.
It's in the hands of terrorists.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. You see, that's a narrative that you don't really get.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's about those things that you don't know, because now when you have that perspective, that actually, hang on, there have been massacres of civilians in Burkina Faso, that a lot of the civilians also claim the army was involved in, the national army was involved in killing civilians. When you have this new perspective now, start to think, actually, hang on, is it quite what yes? Yeah. So these are the perspectives that you need. Like, it's really important to open up. But you see, now getting that information, let's say when I was making that documentary, the toughest thing was fighting through that misinformation. Even as a journalist trying to make a documentary, I'm speaking to experts, it was extremely difficult because there's so much information on both sides. And let's say to get those statistics of deaths, of in massacres and things like that, that was so difficult because, first of all, the sources aren't really spoken about with that much. Right? Those kind of stories just aren't spoken about, so it's hard to even get that information through your Google, even if you just did a search. But also, like I talk about that campaign that Russia is allegedly involved in trying to clean up the reputation of Burkina Faso, because of course now they are getting minerals from Burkina Faso in exchange for So yeah, there's so many intricate things that are involved.
It's crazy. It's interesting because of time. I don't want to go too much on this, but I've seen so many things, so many times on YouTube. We've all seen it. Something goes viral just because of what's said, and even it's fake. And I think this is becoming a problem. I think there should be like policies around this stuff because I don't think it's right at all. Like you can see Jake Paul dying or something like that outside. Goes to 1 million views.
You know,
everyone is
it's-
probably potentially believing.
What's so funny about that?
Yeah.
As of late, I see a lot of people like, wasn't Jake Paul in Kenya recently? I'm like, no, it's AI.
Yes,
You
I've
see
seen
this?
those as well.
Yeah.
There's actually one video that actually looks so real.
Yeah,
I feel a few of them, if you're a bit savvy of AI, you'll be like, okay. But one of them is like, wow. Like, okay, I know he's in Miami right now. He's about to fight Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
So that's how I know this isn't real.
Yeah.
But like it was like so crazy. I think there's gonna get to a point where seeing is no longer believing anymore because it's people can make stuff like that up, which is a shame, but the world we live in now.
Yeah, but I think it has its, obviously it's terrible, it's very terrifying, but like if you look at the bright side, because there's always a bright side to everything, the bright side being right, the bright side being it will force people to do more research when they see something. Like you can't really just, like you're saying, you can't see and believe anymore. It's like if you see this, you're like, was he really in Canada? Now you research and like, oh, he wasn't, it's AI.
I think what this going to do is going to just push for a more outgoing look for the truth.
Yeah.
The truth is going to be looked at for much more in depth, much more critically. And I think at this point you can't really just trust one video. You need to be like, okay, this guy say this. What is Google saying? What is AI? Maybe even AI. What is this saying? What is the actual truth? And then at the end of the day, the most comments potentially could lead to what is actually happening. And I think we want to know, what do you think are the biggest problems Kenya is going, the entire world, not even Kenya, Kenya and the entire world is going through? Do you think people should be paying keen attention to? Because I know there's a lot going on right now. You as a journalist, because I know you are getting all that information. What do you think people should be looking at right now?
I think it's really hard to pin one thing down, to be honest. Because let's say if you are to talk about the Russia-Ukraine war, most of the commentary is about like new strikes that came in Donetsk or whatever, and you hear like how many people have died, and you hear how terrible the situation is. But there's so many backstories behind these headlines that you see that are spoken about, but again, don't really come to the forefront a lot of the time because it does take a lot of personal interest to go and search for these things. For example, how many people know about like the thousands of kids that have been abducted from Ukraine by Russia? And they are like thousands upon thousands. No one even knows how many thousands have been abducted, and where are they? The parents are looking for them. They don't know where they are.
This is Ukraine.
Yes.
Jesus.
And there's so many stories that are going around. Like also, even just the casualty numbers. A few months ago now, over 1 million soldiers were dead and wounded earlier this year in that war. Over 1 million. And so I actually don't think the full scale of that war has really been published as it really should, because people really don't actually know how bad that war is at the moment. And it's where a lot of the modern technology is being used with drones and stuff. I don't know if you've seen any of the drone footage in that war. Terrifying. Like I saw a POV cam the other day of this guy who was in a forest just trying to run away from this drone that you could just hear zzz, buzzing behind him. He was looking around, he didn't know where it was, he just hears a buzz. And it's so terrifying because it's like, damn, like you have no control. There's a guy sitting in his basement in Russia, in Moscow probably, or some random, controlling it, hundreds of miles away.
What is it so special about the drones? Because I keep hearing them about them all the time on Wealth, on Instagram. I keep hearing them. Like
because they're so effective. They can kill easily with an explosive, and there is no direct consequence to the person operating because they're not in the battlefield.
Yeah.
So
That's a huge thing too, because even through a lot of like now wars and stuff, obviously you see someone you're actually killing, and it like gives you, maybe if you have a conscience, like a lot of people now start like, hey, I don't want to do this, or like you have a lot of more contemplation. But when you're like behind the screen at home with a drone, it's almost like a video game.
it almost is, because we've all grown up playing COD.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be too surprised if a 26-year-old is there operating this thing, and it just feels like, you know.
So you will say it's the Ukraine war.
Like I wouldn't pin it down on that, but I think just the amount of conflict in the world that's going on, that I think we have seen it quite well in Gaza, because it's been published by citizens quite well. Al Jazeera have been able to cover what's going on the ground, but there's no war actually so actually I think that's where people have really been exposed to the reality of war. I think many people didn't really fully grasp the reality of war until seeing the footage coming out from Gaza, and just seeing how terrible it is and how no one should be subjected to something like that. So that's I think, especially the footage coming out of Gaza, I think, has really enlightened people, but no other conflict is really getting that same
coverage.
Yeah, but also, let's say, like, and it's not even that for any particular agendas or anything. But
Right. And speaking of big topics, we can come back to Kenya and talk about the recent events that happened.
Yeah.
I keep seeing on your social media talking about what really happened during the Asaki event.
The one a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, the Shaka concert. So for that, it was a very okay. So that event was actually, I don't often go to concerts.
So this was just like a one-time.
That was actually the second concert I've ever been to.
I think we
Just
should
the
have-
second concert.
The first one wasn't in Nairobi. This is the first in Nairobi.
Actually, it was the second in Nairobi. The first one was Burna Boy.
Oh, cheers.
I went to Burna Boy, and
That was good.
That was good. That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Very well organized. It was at Uhuru Gardens.
Yeah.
We were complaining. We had to walk like 2 miles
For
for Burna Boy,
Okay.
going through all these checkpoints to get to the event, to get to the event itself. So when you compare it to this Ashake concert, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
it wasn't even close to the level of security that Burna Boy concert had. There was one security check at the perimeter of Nyayo Stadium,
Yeah.
the complex, and there were no crowd control barriers. There was nothing funneling people in. Even when, I don't know if you went to Kasarani when we had Chan a few months ago, like
Yeah. You go.
the
Don't even get me started.
so I don't know if you went to that first match. That first match wasn't handled very well, but the ones after, I went to was it the quarters? Yeah, well, the match that we ended up losing in the end. The security was good there, where there was just zigzagging, and you had to. We got dizzy by the end. We had to just keep zigzagging, and people were sent to this other direction, and other people sent to another one. So that was there was nothing like that at this Ashake concert.
Yeah.
And what happened was, I got there at around 9:30 p.m. And by this point, it was obviously pitch black. There was no real lights either, but there was a big queue of, so this is the venue here. There was a big queue of women, 2 lines of women this way. That was really long for some reason. And so there'd been a hold up for them. And on this other side, there were 2 lines of men. The 2 lines of men weren't as big. There were like 2 queues of 40 people. So I just joined one of them. And I was thinking, I'll be in no time, because surely we'll just flow through. But all 4 lines are coming into one narrow door, right? One narrow gate that was a single man gate. And it was up against a fence on this side and a wall on this side. And there was just this little thing in the corner. So now, I believe when there was those 2 lines of 40 guys and a couple hundred women, it was manageable at that point. That we were all lining up orderly. Yeah, no one was really pushing in, and it was okay. But for some reason, they stopped letting people in. And then when it comes when you're 30 or 45 minutes later and you've let no one in, of course these 80 guys are no longer 80. There are a few hundred. And now you have this rowdy mob mentality. You know, people are drunk and people come in big groups, and they, gives them more confidence to do funny things. So everyone just starts pushing in, and everyone's like, wait, why are they pushing in front of me? I've been waiting here for an hour. So then you're like, okay, no, you need to get in front of them. And suddenly, now instead of having these 4 orderly lines on each side of the door, there's a massive mob with hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And we're given no explanation as to why we're not being allowed in. We're not late. The concert hasn't started. So that's why it ended up being this kind of mob. And now people start becoming impatient. We have been waiting for ages, and there's no communication as to what's happening. And people got frustrated, or some people being a bit disorderly, trying to push down these 2 side gates that were never opened. They were tightly secured. And then, but most people had the thought of guys, stop that, because we don't want anything like this to happen. I really believe the vast majority of people there paid for their tickets. It wasn't an Occupy thing. People that had paid for their tickets, they were just waiting to get in. Eventually they started letting a few people in. But now the security they had there, they just weren't able, it was impossible to control the amount of people who were now frustrated, drunk, we weren't tired, right? You've been standing for so long. So then obviously people start pushing against each other to try and get forward. I want to get in there. I don't want to wait any longer. I was in the middle. I was in the middle.
No.
For real. I was in the middle. I was hoping to just get a smooth entrance. But I was right in the middle. And because also I like going to the standard section, right? Because I think if you go to VIP, I had a few comments asking why weren't you in VIP? I was like, okay, first of all, my friends were in standard, and I want to be with them, and secondly, it's just a better atmosphere other than being with VVIPs who think they're so important. And
VIP was booked. They had to share tables, which is
and it's not even the best experience a lot of the time. But anyway, so that's how I ended up in that situation. And people start pushing against each other, and then the police start coming. And they see that they need to kind of get a grip on the disorderliness. But the way they did that, of course, they had their batons and started trying to whip. Yeah.
No.
It's typical. It's
Yeah.
so typical.
No, seriously not.
You know, not to steal what you're saying, but there's a huge problem with just even events in general in Kenya. I don't think Kenya has the facilities to be hosting big events.
We really need to do better.
Really overselling tickets. I don't know, sometimes, and then there's unauthenticated tickets that are sold, so people have fakes and they paid and then they want to get in. And then there's obviously the people who are now I know this place is gonna be disorderly, so I'm gonna sneak in with the disorder, because it's happened many times. This isn't the first time something like this has happened, to the point where it's Ashake is coming, but then I have my friends who are I don't want to get injured or this and that. I know how Kenyan events go. I'm not gonna pay for a ticket, and it's very unfortunate. What happens?
Things like that can happen. But you see, so when the police came with those batons, that was really the first time that the crowd. Obviously, these guys on the outside where the police are hitting them, they move this way. So of course, there's that ripple effect now of everyone just stumbling over each other. And it was at that moment I was like, damn, I don't want to be doing that again. Because it's actually quite difficult to stay stood. It's very easy to fall over. The only reason that you don't fall over is because there's someone right here next to you. You just lean on them.
It's like a wave.
Yeah, you just lean on them, and then they lean on the other person. That's how you don't fall over. So then it settled again. But then they started opening the gate, allowing 10 people in, and then closing it. But every time they open that gate, obviously everyone's like, oh, I need to go now. So that had the really big thing of everyone's pushing, and then we stop, and then now there's this concertina effect of everyone just still coming. They're thinking, oh, we're moving, and now you're just getting squashed against these people in front of you. And the closer and closer you got to this bottleneck that you had to get, you remember this huge thing, and you're trying to get into this door.
Yeah.
The closer you got, the worse it got.
This just reminds me of energy. Was the same NSG?
Yeah,
Kenya
hosting events.
2021 was just the same thing. It was like I was big squash and trying to get the trend.
And it's a shame too that like obviously the police don't have a lot of options, but like the first thing they do is start like beating the crowd with throwing tear gas. Like that's the first response.
And it should never get to that point because any event of that nature must have the appropriate security for it.
I heard somebody died.
Yeah, unfortunately, passing.
That's what led to it.
Yeah. So I believe the lady who died, actually, I was surprised. When I heard that someone had died, I was thinking it would be at this perimeter gate. This the story I'm recounting now of going through that gate, because that's when I was hearing many women screaming. And there was a lady just behind me really screaming out of like just terror. And I was trying to ask her to just like relax, because obviously this screaming is taking way more out of you than if you're just trying to like compose and just try and breathe normally. So luckily she made it out okay. She was okay because she was right behind me, and she ended up coming in front of me, and I'm glad she was okay. So actually that was the point where I was thinking that someone would have died, and actually that's how the security breach happened, because towards the front, I was about 10 people back when the security breach happened, and I was in a position where I'd paid for my ticket, but I don't want to be in the situation anymore. So, and many people had this idea as well. We were like, look, at the end of the day, we are struggling to breathe here, and we're at the bottleneck. So for our safety, we kind of need to just try and get through. It was not an Occupy thing. It was not we didn't pay for our tickets, we just want to get in. It was purely, it was actually just people were really fearing for their lives. So that was the discussion of the people in front of me, which led to them eventually just trying to... that's what led to the break now. So now the lady who passed away in the tunnel. That was 100 meters away. You went through the first gate and now the tunnel there. And then apparently she was trampled on.
No.
Yeah, condolences. Very tragic.
In that tunnel, and which was it was tragic. And when I went through eventually, I kind of stayed back a little bit when I saw it was getting really rowdy in the tunnel, because now there's like walls on each side. If you get pressed against that wall, I was like, so I just didn't want to get involved. So I came back when it was still very crowded, but a little bit later, and you would just see shoes everywhere, belongings everywhere, glasses, phones, and then some ladies on the side who were just really distressed. They just were on the floor crying, and I was like, damn, like the imagine like you are in such panic that your shoes have come off. You've lost your phone, but you just want to get out of that situation.
No, the event organizers, I think we need to be done.
Be held accountable.
It was not good. So that was the ordeal there. The concert itself was decent. I'm not really a fan of that kind of music, to be honest, but I was kind of just there for my friends. But so that was the situation, and hopefully not to be repeated.
Hopefully we do the other ones next time much better, to be honest.
Unfortunately, we don't have that much time left in the podcast, but it was really great to have you on. As a closing remark, do you have any tips for journalists?
You want to just some tips?
Anyone, like, seeing as you're a pro yourself, you've been in the game a while.
Tips. I can give a tip. Just for younger people as well, trying to break into the industry, I think. So we can broaden it a little bit. With young people, getting jobs is so hard right now. Job market is so impossible, right? So when you are in your early 20s and you have a weak CV and you haven't got much experience, the best way to really prove your skills is by just getting your foot in somewhere, right? And the way you can do that as a young person is being an intern, getting an internship. Royal Media and Citizen, we bring in so many interns. Every 4 months, there's like 80 or 90 interns. But there's a couple mistakes that I see a lot of them making consistently, every batch. Now, I'll give you an example. Let's say if you have an employee, someone who's been there for 20 years, they decide to go on a longer lunch break. Instead of 30 minutes, they go for an hour and a half. And they go out to the mall somewhere and say, well, the work will be done, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Should an intern copy that kind of behavior? For someone who has a wife, has kids, has achieved most of what he wants.
For like a long time.
Right? So when interns come in and they're like, and it's 4:00, they're like, I just want to go home early.
Jesus.
Because, that guy's gone home early. I'm like, what? You are not in that position. You are not in that position to get into a place and be relaxed. Because at the end of the day, companies are not hiring many people anyways. So if you are to get that opportunity to go in somewhere like Citizen, for example, that is good at absorbing interns, you need to prove your worth.
You need to stand out.
You need to stand out. Because if there's 90 of you, why if a job opportunity comes 3 months down the line, why would they call you out of all those people? They would call the person who was there all the time. Was there anything that they were asked to do? Even if they didn't know how to do it, they found a way to do it. And let's say, for example, in my situation, I started as a sports reporter, but an opportunity came to progress a little bit, came as a news anchor. So I'd obviously expressed my interest beforehand. I had done a few practice bulletins to show them what I can do. So when the opportunity came, they were like, actually, like Immanuel, he did a recording and he seemed all right. So let's give him a shot, right? So that's what I'd encourage. If you go into a role that you're confined to this role, if possible, try and branch out, because you never know where the opportunity will come. And then you can be able to grasp something with both hands. Getting an interview is the hardest thing, I think, because once you put your CV in, a lot of companies have these AI things that they basically scan out half the things right? So if you're able to get in somewhere, show your worth and get that interview because they remembered you, then I think that's a really good way for young people to get in this job market that's not good. So definitely don't take internships for granted. Don't be like, oh, well, I hear some people saying, oh, well, they're not paying me, so why would I do overtime?
And that's always about showing them, even, you can do that
You're willing to work.
Exactly.
So, and you can build your CV, build your portfolio. There's a couple interns coming out of this last batch that I was like, okay, have you built your portfolio? They're like, what do you mean portfolio? Like, really? Like, you've been here for 4 months. And you've been making all these graphics that the whole country has seen, right? We show you these graphics on TV. We show you these graphics on our social medias platforms. And you're telling me you haven't compiled those for yourself? So, like, if you want to get a job later, you can show, like, this is what I did. It's like, so always be on top of that. And really look forward to the future.
All right, thank you so much, Immanuel, for coming on to the evening. And until the next episode.
Hopefully we can have you on another episode. It's really great.
I really enjoyed this. Actually, there's a lot we can get into even in future podcasts.
For sure.
I think that'll be good.
But we will be back. So.
Make sure to like, subscribe, link in the description for his documentary, right?
Yes.
Okay. And share too. Okay.
Thanks very much.
Thank you guys.